Thank you for joining us live here at Earl Stewart on Cars. I was about to say that the recorded introduction that we have has been going on for a while now, and we've made some vast improvements here in the studio. And I was just you didn't hear me say this, but I said that we're in a really advanced high-tech studio. We are prepared for Zoom, for one thing. We've been preparing for Zoom for a long time, a lot more complicated than we realized. And so you folks out there with a Zoom account, we're going to hope to hear from you and see you. I've even got a laptop over here I can look at and see you right on the laptop. So we're all equipped. The technical, the glitches are out of the Zoom. We're in a exciting time, as I always tell you, in the automotive industry. I've never seen change like this, and every time I say this, and you're talking to a guy that's been doing this for 50 plus years, but we've accelerated the rate of change of the manufacturing of cars, of the retailing of cars, with the regulation of the retailers of the cars. And by retailers, I'm talking about us car dealers. Yes, I am one of them, and I have been since 1968. Is when I became an automobile dealer, a Pontiac dealer back in those days. So here I am, a Toyota dealer. I say this in full disclosure, and also to say that this is not an infomercial, even though we do have a car dealership. I think of it as a huge advantage to what we like to call ourselves, which are consumer advocates. We've got Nancy Stewart, we've got Rick Kearney. Stu Stewart, my son, is on vacation, so he won't be with us for this week or next couple of weeks, as a matter of fact. And but we are in the retail business as we speak, so we can know when we cast stones, and that's what we do. It sounds pretty crude, but we do cast stones at car dealers who don't operate ethically and honestly, and that's most of them. I mean, it's hard for me to get it. Every time I say that, I want to gag because I'm talking about a huge industry. The car dealers, retail car dealers in the United States employ a huge number of people. They're very important to local economies and the national economy. And then you have the manufacturers and the suppliers. It's a huge, huge economic power, and they have huge lobbying power. And that's where the problem lies, because the lobbying power has protected car dealers and allowed them to operate promiscuously. Car dealers can break the law and get away with it. But do you hear footsteps? I hear footsteps, and that is the Federal Trade Commission, and they stopped or combat auto retail scams. The cars legislation by the Federal Trade Commission, combat auto retail scams. Now, that's not my words. Those are the words of the Federal Trade Commission. And it was targeted to go into effect on July 1st. There's some lobbying efforts to keep that from happening in Texas. I mean, where else would you expect problems other than Texas? They seem to be in the news every day. And we also have, we're broadcasting, telecasting, or whatever we do here. We're doing this out of Florida, and Florida has some legislation, regulation that's going to be implemented. So the footsteps are behind the car dealers. They feel the footsteps. They know the regulations are coming in. Oh, I almost forgot Amazon. Amazon has gotten the Hyundai manufacturer, and they're working with car dealers so that you'll be able to buy a Hyundai or a Genesis or a Kia online through Amazon. Now, most of you probably have an experience with Amazon. You know they're a good outfit to deal with. You know that the price that you pay is the price that you get, and you know that you can return things if they don't work, and you know that they get there pretty quickly. They give you a clear out-the-door price. I mean, Amazon is eventually going to be selling most everything. And cars are going to be a huge step if they have one manufacturer. Actually, Hyundai and Kia are the same owner, and Genesis. But if another couple car manufacturers jump online with Amazon, then you will have a refreshing experience when you buy a car, kind of like buying an Apple computer, probably or an iPhone, or buying anything at a reputable retailer like Costco or Target or Amazon. So these changes are coming in, so you got to put a smile on your face. Things are getting better.
We know, excuse me, we know they're getting better when you take a look at the consumer report that I pointed out to you on the subject you're covering right now on cars. You know, it's getting, some attention, which is good for the consumer.
Yeah, and that voice you just heard was Nancy Stewart, my co-host, and she monitors the phones, and if there's a telephone call, we want to hear it because we love the personality that comes through.
Yeah.
And that telephone number is 877-960-9960. Do we have a phone call?
We do.
Okay.
You ask and you shall receive.
Thank you.
For all of you that are listening out there, ladies, you get yourself $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. And also this morning we have 2 new Zoom callers. If you give us a call on the meeting ID number, which is 926-589-0586. We have a whole lot more to get to, but we have Howard holding, and he is a regular caller. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning. How are you all doing?
We're great.
Okay, great. I have a question about tires, so maybe Rick can answer this question. I went into Costco to purchase tires, and my tires are V-rated. And they told me in Costco, they gave me a price of V-rated, and they said, I said, what do I need V-rated? Like 100 miles an hour? I never go 100 miles an hour. So then they told me it's very important because when you drive in hot weather, the tires take a beating, and you're better protected. So I said, how much would it cost to get a tire that's less than V-rated? I don't know what's a D or whatever it is. And they said it's like $50 less on each tire. So I was thinking I should get, but the little genie went off in my mind and said, no, I have to be protected better than that. Because in Florida, when you drive I-95, you go sometimes 80 miles an hour, and in the heat, I figured I'm better off protected with a V-rated. Rick, was I right or wrong?
Nah. H-rated tires would be just fine. The H-rated tires will handle any legal highway speed in the United States. Unless you're driving a sports car and you're constantly doing a lot of hard cornering, the hard driving, and you need those speed-rated tires. No, if you're driving a family sedan, a minivan, the average person's car, H-rated tires for your speed are just fine. You're going to save some money and be better off in the long run.
Howard, let me jump in there and just say this in defense of Costco. Based on Rick's judgment, which I respect, they should have recommended the H instead of the D and saved you some money. I think it was a mistake. I don't think they were trying to make extra money on you. See, Costco has a fixed markup that they put on everything, and I believe that markup is 15%. And they, no matter what they pay for something, they don't mark it up more than 15%. So they made no more money by selling you the D rated than they did the lower speed rated.
V rated is actually what they're getting. One of the things that Costco also does, though, they shy away from recommending anything except the tires that were manufacturer put on your car. So if you have a car that originally came with 14-inch wheels and you switch it to 15-inch wheels, Costco's a little leery of that because the sticker on your car calls for a specific size of tire and wheel, and they want to stick with that because they don't want the liability of they put the wrong tires on that weren't correct for that car.
So you don't think that's...
I think Costco was erring on the side of caution,
Yeah.
because the tires that he came in with were V-rated.
Yeah.
So they wanted to sell him the same tires
Yeah, I understand
because that
that.
protects them.
I guess my question is, why did you recommend a different tire?
Because as a mechanic,
You think there's no liability? You don't think the engineers, when they designed that tire for that car, and they said the V-rated?
well, what's more likely is that when he went to another shop somewhere else, they sold him a higher tire to make more money there the last time around.
Oh,
It's like the difference between buying Kumo tires and buying the top-rated Michelin.
yeah,
Where if you get the Kumo and you spend $75 or say $100 each on those tires, and their speed rating and their traction and all that, but their tread wear is much lower. You go to buy a set of Michelins for $200 each.
Yeah.
The tread wear is much higher.
yeah. Well,
And-
I'm getting confused, but I just want to leave it with the fact that if you go to Costco, I would go with the Costco recommendation, and I
Call you back. I'm talking to Earl Stewart on the phone.
Yeah. Anyway, but I'm sure Rick is correct in his assessment of saving the money. But I think Costco is you can't beat Costco. I mean, if they recommend something, I accept it, and that's a good general rule. So, but thanks for the question, Howard.
Yeah, I just didn't
Yeah,
want
I
to say
have
anything
a-
negative down on Costco's myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have tires for life, so you always give me V-rated. I realize that. You never deviate from that.
I got you.
But when I was up in New York now, I needed tires because they were in bad shape, so I had to get in Costco, even though I have tires for life. So I had to bite the bullet and get the tires.
Okay, I understand. Well, thank you very much, Howard. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, great hearing from you, Howard. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. And for the ladies, we have $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Give me a call, and we have $50 for you. I'll make that check out to you and send it out on Monday. And for all of you that would like to give us a call at our Zoom meeting ID number, that number is 926-589-0586. The first 2 Zoom callers win themselves $100 this morning. We are going to stay with the phones, and we're going to go to Roberta. Roberta's calling us from Jupiter, and she has called before. Good morning, Roberta.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I have 2 questions. My husband is no longer driving, and I have 2 cars. A Lexus RX 350 2015 with 100,000 miles, and I also have a Toyota Camry 2016 with 24,000 miles. Which car should I sell, or should I sell both of them and get a newer RAV4 or CRV with lower mileage?
Have you gone out and gotten any estimates as far as what your
No.
vehicles are worth, either one of them?
Yeah. I was told maybe 15 on the Camry, maybe 18 on the Lexus, but I'm really not sure.
I see. Okay, let's see what the guys have to say, and then I'll get back with you, Roberta.
I would,
Thank you.
Roberta, I'd keep the vehicle that I like the best,
Okay.
and sell the other one. I mean, they're 2 different vehicles. I'd probably keep the Lexus, but that's me. But whichever.
I prefer to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I prefer to, but I just wasn't sure because the mileage is so high.
yeah.
Money-wise, which I'd be better off doing in the long run, or should I get rid of both of them and get something with lower mileage?
What
Would
is
that
the
make
what
any
is the
sense?
what's the mileage on your Lexus?
It's an RX 350,
Mileage? What's the mileage?
100,000.
Yeah, well, on a Lexus, that's low mileage. I mean, you can
Okay.
get, if you had 200,000, I'd tell you the same thing. And if you like it and it's had the factory recommended maintenance done, and you're more comfortable in that, keep the Lexus. And then it's a seller's market with your other vehicle. And I'd get a price from CarMax. They're an honest outfit. You could go to WeBuyAnyCar.com. You can go to Vroom. You can go to a number of these companies out there that do buy cars, and you can shop it till you get your best price and sell it, and keep that Lexus and enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
will
have a
be
lot
done
of
with that.
miles to put on that Lexus. You'll have that for
Okay,
a
great.
long time.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome, Roberta. We're going to go to
Thanks.
Barry, who's calling us from Tampa. Good morning. Good morning, Barry.
Morning. My question is about the options added by Southeast Toyota distributors, or status are sometimes called, I guess. Recently, I checked a few online window stickers at a Tampa area dealer, and I stuck strictly to new Camry SEs, and every single one of them had set options in some form or fashion. The worst, I'd say, would be Toyo Guard. However, the add-ons varied from car to car. So my question, obviously I could switch brands or buy a Toyota up north or just not buy at all, but is there another way to avoid the distributor options? There seems to be some leeway in what gets added. Will a factory order do the job?
Yeah, that's a good question. And if you buy a car in the Southeast, meaning the 5 southeastern states, it will likely go through Southeast Toyota. They have an agreement with Toyota, and they buy all their cars from Toyota. Then they bring them in, and they add options. You mentioned Toyo Guard. That's an overpriced, I won't say worthless, but nearly worthless option. The dealers have the option to order these cars without Toyo Guard. In my dealership, we order our cars without Toyo Guard, but sometimes we end up with cars with Toyo Guard because we will swap cars. We call it dealer trading with other dealers. So I'm looking for a white Camry. I don't have one. I trade a blue Camry to get a white Camry, and that car's got Toyo Guard. And in that case, we pass the Toyo Guard along at our cost. Our cost on Toyo Guard is about $200, and the dealers sell it for almost $700. So I would avoid all options that were added by Southeast Toyota that I didn't want, and that would be most of them, and try to find one with the least options. To answer your question about going outside of Southeast Toyota, Southeast Toyota also has a markup. They call it an admin. You'll see it on the label that is added, the Monroney label. Then they have the Southeast Toyota portion of the Monroney label. Somehow they become official a part of the Monroney label, and they have a markup, and that markup's about almost $1,000. So when you buy a car outside of Southeast Toyota, I feel sorry for the dealers up in Alabama, because you can just go across the border to the next state and buy a car directly from Toyota, and right away the dealer's cost is about $1,000 less than the Southeast Toyota dealer's cost. So I'm a Southeast Toyota dealer, and I pay more money for my Toyotas to the dealer in Arizona or California or almost any other state. There's another distributorship in the Texas area, and that's also has markups that they add to the price of the Toyotas they buy from Toyota.
Okay, so is factory ordering an option here in Florida where you could eliminate all the Toyota
Sure.
That option?
Sure, we can order. Well, we go. If I'm a Southeast Toyota dealer, I can't order directly from Toyota directly. I can get a car that came from Toyota directly. So we have, rarely, but we do from time to time. We will get a car outside of Southeast Toyota, and I can go to Connecticut. I can go to New York. I can go anywhere and give them one of my cars for one of their cars, or just buy it outright from the dealers. Dealers will cooperate pretty much and swap cars back and forth, even outside of the distributorship. The problem is the transportation. For me to get a car that I buy in New York, because it doesn't have the markup that SET puts on there, and doesn't have the Toyo Guard and the other options that I don't want, I still have to pay, $700-800 of transportation to get the car down from New York. So, if you're in a position where you can maybe you spend the summers up north and the winters in Florida, we have a lot of people that do that. You're better off if you have a home or vacation home or whatever outside of the Southeast to buy your car up there. But that goes with the caveat, listen to this show and exercise the caution that you buy a car anywhere, because whether you buy a car in New York or Florida, you're going to have the dealers trying to scam you. But if you can get a competitive price in New York, the price will be much lower than you have to pay in Southeast Toyota.
Okay, great. Just a quick follow-up question, and then I'll hang up. But,
You realize you're getting me in a lot of trouble with Southeast Toyota, because but I've been around too long. They don't know what to do with me because they know I can't keep my mouth shut. But anyway,
I appreciate the honesty. The label set has a couple terms on there that seem to be somewhat related. I'm not exactly sure what they are. One is set digital portfolio, and the other is ILA confirmation. What do those mean?
SE said is Southeast Toyota, stands for Southeast Toyota Digital Portfolio. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't sound like an option.
I don't know that one.
Is there a price on it?
It's a zero cost. It almost seemed like a set of pictures or something, photographs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but zero cost, and dealer's not paying for it, and you're not paying for it. But I honestly don't know what that is. I should, but I don't.
Okay, and what about the ILA confirmation? What's that mean?
Ooh.
Is there a price on that?
No, I think it's like an attribute of an option or something. Almost like
Yeah.
distinguishes one option from another.
Yeah, Rick, can you make a note of those two? We will check those, and I'll try to get an answer for you. I can text the dealership and ask my son, my other son who's in the dealership, to get that information. But I apologize, I can't. I don't have an answer to either one of those.
Yeah, can you give me those again one more time?
Sure. One is SET, digital portfolio.
Uh-huh.
And the other one is ILA confirmation.
ILA confirmation. Yeah, we'll check that out, and we should have that answer before the show's over. You don't have to listen to the whole show; it's 2 hours, but we will. It'll be on our podcast when we. You can check the podcast for the show. We'll have that answer for you.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well,
You're
thanks very
welcome,
much for the
Gary.
call.
Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. We have some cash this morning for the Zoom callers. If you can give us a call on our Zoom ID number, that telephone number is 926-589-0586. $100 for the first two new Zoom callers. And ladies, I haven't forgotten about you. $50 for the first two new lady callers. That number again is 877-960-9960. And boy, I'll tell you what, I was so excited whenever I saw this lawsuit against CarShield. Weekend and we have been talking about CarShield and how aggravating the commercial is and what they're selling, because it's all fake.
That's Ice-T, the guy that does the commercial. They're using celebrities, and I always liked Ice-T. I thought he was kind of a cool guy, and then he got into this scam.
Well, he's got some great music, but this isn't his expertise here. He's just being paid for a face. But they're being sued for $10 million. It's a federal settlement over deceptive repair and coverage ads.
Yeah, they're fined $10 million. There's not a lawsuit. They're gonna have to.
CarShield has been ordered to pay
right.
$10 million federal settlement over deceptive ads. Anyway, if you haven't had a chance to take a look, you'll find it. Just go to the internet and Google CarShield, and you'll find out what they're all about.
Yeah, this leads us to the whole idea. One of the most common questions we get on the show is, what about extended warranties? And sometimes I get questions, well, do you sell extended warranties? Well, I don't like extended warranties, and I don't buy them. Nancy and I, when we're buying products, we always opt out on the extended warranty. And it's a philosophy we have. If it's something we can afford ourselves, we'd rather bank it ourselves invest the money, save the money, and then have to draw out if we need to fix a product. And that goes for cars too. But a lot of people buy extended warranties because of peace of mind. The thing to remember is when you buy an extended warranty on an auto for peace of mind, you got to know what that extended warranty covers, and you have to understand the cost completely. And oftentimes, the cost is extraordinarily high and the coverage extraordinarily low. There are good extended warranties out there, and they are usually made available by the manufacturers. They're not all good that are made available, but don't buy them if they come from a company like CarShield. CarShield is an independent company, and they sat down one day and they made up an extended warranty, and the purpose of the extended warranty was it isn't going to cost them any money because we don't want any claims. Then they came up with an exorbitant price, and then they saturate television and digital and everything else with ads about this great extended warranty. And they got caught. The Federal Trade Commission fined them $20 million. So don't buy an extended warranty unless you carefully read it, evaluate it, cost and coverage.
Absolutely. And, they use these, like Ice-T and everyone else that has been advertising for them. And what they were doing is delivering empty promises, taking advantage of the consumer. So you want to stay away from CarShield. Our number here is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Larry, who's calling us from Oakland Park. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Great.
I had an experience. I went to, it's okay to mention the dealer?
Sure,
Absolutely.
Okay. I went into a Lorenzo Nissan here. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I saw an ad on Facebook, and I said, "Oh, it looks exactly like what we're looking for." It was a Dodge Ram pickup. I guess it was a trade-in. It had 50,000 miles on it. It was 2019. My son and I are both car guys. We went over, checked it out. It looked beautiful. I saw the price advertised on Facebook Marketplace was $24.9. And when we got there, the ad on the window said, ticket on the window said $27.9. And so the salesman said, "Well, that you get a special price on the internet." I said, or on Facebook. I said, "Okay, good." So we sat down, to go over the paperwork, and he said, "Are you trading in your Jeep?" Because I was driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "Is that a problem?" Because he had like a weird look on his face. I said, "Well, that price is only if you trade in a 2015 vehicle or newer. You can read the fine print." And I said, "What fine print?" It's on Facebook Marketplace. So he pulls up the ad. He can't find it either. And then we pull up the ad. We pull up the ad for Lorenzo Nissan, and there it is, but it's not on Facebook Marketplace. So I made the deal. I said, "You know what? If you go for take $2,000 off the top, I'll take it right now." He said, "You got to finance?" I said, No, I'm going to pay cash." He said, "Oh." I'm like, "Well, what does that mean?" Another look on his face. I'm like, "Okay, I don't understand." He said, "Well, if you're not trading in the vehicle, it's $1,000 more." I think he made up this number. So he went and talked to to Alex, who was the sales manager, and he said, "Well, he'll take 1,000 off." But I said, "Wait, you're taking 1,000 off, but then you're adding 1,000 back in." I said, "It doesn't make any sense." So we're not getting a very good, comfortable, warm, fuzzy feeling about our new car purchase.
Yeah.
And it's at 6 p.m., almost 6 p.m., and everybody's leaving. It's on Sunday. So the salesman was a little disappointed, couldn't make the deal. And so my son and I were outside looking at the truck. I saw him clock out, and he didn't even say anything to us. He just walked right by us. I mean, I've been a salesman my whole life. I mean, I told to Alex, I said, "I bought probably 60 cars in my lifetime." And I said, what I would have said was, "Hey, I'm sorry we couldn't make the deal today, but think about it, sleep on it, get back to me tomorrow. We'll talk again." He just walked right by us. I'm like, "Okay, I'm not like this dude at all, So my son said, "Dad, why didn't he talk to us?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe he's in a hurry to get home. I don't know." But we decided to not move forward, even though Alex called me the next day. "What can we do to make your buying experience better?" "Take 2,000 off." I said, "No, we can't do that." "All right, well, then I'm not trying to be rude." I said, "Well, thank you anyway. I appreciate you calling."
you're down there in the worst of the worst area, Oakland Park, South Florida. They are, I say this every week, they're the Wild Wild West. They get away with murder. Interestingly enough, the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, they also are frustrated and fed up with South Florida. South Florida has its own dealer association. They were, the South Florida Auto Dealers Association was the dealer association for many, many years. And they just let the dealers run rampant and commit any kind of crime they want to do to sell the car. Long claim the Florida Automobile Dealers Association. They're located in Tallahassee now. They were in Orlando, and they eventually took over. Now the South Florida Dealers Association is a country club. They charge dues, and but they don't enforce the rules. So, you got the worst of the worst. They what they're doing now on September the 1st. According to the Florida Automobile Association, they will fine them extensively. The Ashley Moody, the Attorney General for the state of Florida, has said, I will be enforcing the rules on September the 1st. So, this Lorenzo Nissan, they got a few more months where they can do what they did to you and anybody else and get away with it. But on September 1st, I really believe they're going to be enforced the rules, and either they're going to play by the rules, or else they're going to get huge fines and maybe even have their franchise canceled.
Yeah, I was just very disappointed with the whole experience. And my son, my son's 27, and we've gone through a couple, just said, Dad, what is going on with this dealership? I said, no, let's just go, because I'm not making a deal with this guy. And he tried. Alex, tried to call me back. Like I said, the second day, trying to make it happen. And then I said, you know what? I'm sorry. I can't go. This is not the experience that I wanted. And I brought my son along to enjoy the experience, and it wasn't there at all. I'm sorry.
Well, Larry, thanks very much for that report. The thought just occurred to me. They may be, the old expression, make hay while the sun shines. They might be making hay until the law goes into effect September 1st. I mean, they say, boys, we're going to have to behave ourselves on September 1st, but let's have some fun between now and then. So they could be just going absolutely nuts, knowing that they have free reign to screw the customer up until September 1. So if I lived in South Florida and I was buying a car, I'd be real careful, especially when you get down there around where you are, Oakland Park.
Yeah, like I said, it was a very disappointing experience, and my son was like, "Are all dealers like this, Dad?" Because the last car we purchased was from a private individual. I said, "No, well, I don't think they all are."
Most of them.
well, then of course, then just to put the icing on the cake, the price was actually went up from 20 the marketplace to $25.9 because I'm not trading the car in. Then they had another $1,995 for the dealer fee.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, I think we're about done here. Thank you very much. One more thing. They wouldn't let me take the worksheet with me. So I'm like, well, can I take it with me? And he said, no. The salesman said, you might use it against us. What does that mean? What does that mean? My son's looking at me like, what does that mean, Dad?
Yeah, Larry, call him up and get the salesman and say, you ought to go to earloncars.com and listen to the podcast of the last radio show. He can listen to your comments and see who got the last laugh.
Well, I'm glad I got a chance just to vent about it because I'm still looking. Anyway, you guys have a great day.
You too, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Bye-bye.
Our number here is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget that Zoom meeting ID number. You can call in, and first two Zoom callers can win themselves $100 this morning. And that number is 926-589-0586. And ladies, $50 for the first two new lady callers. And I have a question. Has anyone peeked in the August edition for the most comfortable cars? What were you looking for when you went out shopping? Whether it was to lease a car, purchase a new car, or a used car, boy, I'll tell you, they give you a lot of suggestions, options in the Consumer Report. It's our Bible at home. So pick up the August edition. 877-960-9960. And Jerry is calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. I just have a question about this my Prius. Recently, I've had a problem where I can't unlock the rear door from the inside, the switch, you know. I can open it from the outside. Can you tell me what's causing the problem or how to fix it?
So it's the actual door handle or the door lock?
The door lock on the inside won't work, won't open it from the inside. I have to roll down the window and open it from the outside to open the door, you know.
Okay, so it's the actual handle portion.
No, it's the switch on the switch on the inside. I guess. Well, I guess it is the handle on the inside. Yeah.
Yes, it's the part that you pull on it to open the door.
Yeah, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
On the inside. Yeah.
It's probably the linkage or the cable that goes from it over to the latch release.
Yeah.
Most likely, the plastic clip inside there has broken.
Yeah.
And that
Makes
linkage
sense.
is not able to move when you pull on the handle. You'd have to pull the
Yeah.
door panel off to inspect it and see what's going on.
What would it cost them approximately?
I just thought it might be something that's you program the thing or something, but no, it's probably just a mechanical linkage or something, right?
Right. That's simply a
Drive a
mechanical
taxi.
linkage on all cars.
Yeah, I drive a taxi, so mechanical. Look at it. I just was curious about what was going on with it, but I
Yeah.
appreciate your advice.
About what would it cost to fix
It's
that,
a great
Rick?
show. You do a great service in there.
Uh,
And the red phone is brilliant. I like that. When I first came to Florida, one of my first commercials was with Earl with the red phone. I love it.
yep.
Nice.
The hotline.
Yeah, cost-wise
All right, thanks
on
a lot.
that, you're probably looking at, I'm going to go on a limb, say about $70 on a new handle if it needs it, and maybe another 25 or 30 if the linkage needs to be replaced.
Oh.
And in labor, you're going to look probably, I
the
am
company-
going to say an
the
hour to
company
an hour and a
car
half
can-
labor.
No, the company mechanic is going to fix it. So. he's just gonna
Okay,
get
so
the part.
you're covered on that. Yep.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that.
Cool.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, we're going to go to Marty. Good morning, Marty.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome
How you
back.
doing?
Good.
I just have a question for Earl.
Yeah.
With this new law that's supposed to take effect September 1st, does it say dealers cannot screw you, or does it just say they have to do everything up front?
No, it is real. It's I actually came to blows almost with the president of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association because I accused him of being complacent with Ashley Moody and not trying to get things cleaned up around Dodge or South Florida or in Florida in general. And so he got mad at me and I got mad at him, and then we had a nice reconciliation, and I apologized to him because he said, Earl, I'm trying my best, and we are going to enforce this. He says, I've got the Northern Florida, Central Florida car dealers in full agreement that we are going to comply with the Federal Trade Commission rules on September the 1st. South Florida, I don't think so. And he held special meetings in person and by Zoom all over Florida, explaining it to them. So he's told the South Florida dealers that you're going to be in trouble, and we're going to see that we're going to work with Ashley Moody to enforce the law. So, yeah, it's going to happen. And it will. So basically, they're saying, in a nutshell, when you buy a car in Florida, you have to have a price that you can count on, and that is out the door with no extras. You can't add any junk fees. You can't add any dealer install accessories. The price that you see is the price that you pay in the advertising, in the conversation. That's the way it's going to be, and I believe him. And it's funny the way that the South Florida dealers. We just had this call from Oakland Park about an experience with Oakland Park Nissan that was terrible. So the dealers in South Florida are making hay while the sun shines, and September 1 it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
But does that mean, Earl, that if they have a dealer fee, if they disclose it right away, or whatever they want to add on right away, then that's okay?
Well, they can't just disclose it. They have to include it in the advertised price. So, what's the point? The only reason a dealer fee works to make money for a dealer is because they hide it. And they don't tell you about it until you buy the car, then they sneak it in on you. So, but if I'm going to put an advertisement on television, on Facebook or Instagram, or in a newspaper. They don't use newspaper that much anymore. But if I'm going to advertise the price of my car, and I have to put my dealer fee and my electronic filing fee and my dealer install accessories and all the other BS and include it in the advertised price, I have nothing to gain because my competition is going to look at that price and he's going to beat it. So the chances are, effectively, those items that we just named won't be charged to you anymore. If they want to charge them, they have to include the advertised price. If they include the advertised price, it's going to be too high, and you won't come there to buy the car.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will. I can't wait. This is going to be. I'm going to have a lot of fun, and I don't know what the first show we'll have after September 1st, but as where all our mystery shopping is going to be. It's going to be in South Florida after September 1st, because when we expose somebody, they could get their franchise canceled. They could be fined hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, if Ashley Moody and the Florida Automobile Dealers Association and Ted Smith are true to their word, when they have information on the violation, bam, the hammer drops on these South Florida dealers. And North Florida, too, but they're going to comply, I believe.
All right. Well, your mystery shopping reports will be good after September 1st.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks so much,
good.
Marty.
Have a good weekend.
You too,
Thank
Marty.
you. Thanks for being part of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, have you considered purchasing a former rental car? The Consumer Report really covers every aspect of that deal if you're about to make one with a rental car company. Give us a call. If you decided to go with a rental car and whether you got a good deal or not, especially on the warranty. Avis and some of them companies, provide that, and if they don't, kind of a red flag. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Zoomers, if you've got an account, take advantage of the meeting ID number and give us a call at 926-589-0586. Be a whole lot of fun to see you live and almost in person. And ladies, $50 for the first two new lady callers. $50 for the first two new lady callers. Now back to the recovery card.
You Zoomers got to call, because you have no idea what Jonathan has done to get this thing working for us. I mean, we have really put in a lot of overtime on this, mainly Jonathan, not to mention his wife Jenny, and we got the Zoom working. So please, if you got a Zoom account, give us a shot, give us a holler. And I even got a laptop where I can see the Zoom better than I did before. So we're prepared for you. So if you
That's exciting.
I'm going to give you your Zoom. If you have an account, if you have a Zoom account, our meeting ID number is 926-589-0586. And so if you have a Zoom us at 926-589-0586.
We're waiting to be Zoomed.
Rick has a comment here.
We have a definition on the SET digital portfolio.
Oh, wow.
Those are the digital photos that Southeast Toyota takes of the car before they ship it to the dealer, so that the dealer has interior and exterior photos to display on their website.
I see.
And the ILA confirmation, Josh wasn't too sure about it, but we did find a spot on Reddit where it was defined, we think this is what it is, as an inline accessory, which is when they're building the car, certain accessories are built onto the car when it's on the assembly line versus accessories that are added, say, after it's been built and is maybe at the distributor or at a dealer. And so that's that ILA, maybe inline accessory confirmation, making sure those accessories were put on the car when it was being built.
But there's no price on the label, so
Right, because it's simply confirming that the accessories were put on,
Right.
and then the accessories would be listed separately. Like, say, parking sensors that are installed while it's being built versus parking sensors that might be added on at the distributor.
Well, I hope the caller is listening that asked those questions, but he was right on about the distributor added accessories and the extra fee that Southeast Toyota pays. But these two issues are no charges that he mentioned.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
That's simply like an administrative line that confirms on the sticker that those were made available to the dealership.
Very good. Great.
Thanks for that information, Rick. We have a Zoom caller, and she's from Tequesta. Her name is Denise, and I'm here to welcome you to the show, Denise. Good morning.
Good morning. It's so nice hearing everybody, especially on this rainy day.
Yeah.
Ah, well, nice to see you in person, Denise. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. My husband's a big fan of yours, so I feel like I know you forever.
Well, thank you, Abby. I appreciate that.
A couple of things. First of all, it's so nice to know that there is a dealership that's honest, and you've got an incredible reputation. I've owned several Teslas. I'm sorry, I've owned several Toyotas and several of the, and a couple of Lexuses. But my favorite Toyota, I have to share this with you. My favorite Toyota was a 1984 Toyota Corolla, and it was an SR5. I thought I was cool. It had intermittent wipers, and I could adjust the side view mirror from the inside of the car by reaching over. I thought I was, queen of the hill.
And it's funny, the more we get, the more we expect. And I think back to these things too, where my first car, all the standard equipment was a heater and a radio, and that was it. So every new accessory that came was a thrill. 1984 Corolla.
So my question is, I went out of the lines and I purchased a Tesla a couple of years ago, and the whole buying experience was so different. I'm just curious to hear your opinion on how that is changing the automotive, the whole automotive industry.
Yeah, it's profound. I actually thought when that Nancy and I have bought Teslas, and we have a Tesla Plaid, and we've got a Tesla Cybertruck on order. But the buying experience was just was totally it blew us away. I mean, we went into a Tesla-owned dealership, and we were treated like real people, and given prices with no hidden fees and no pressure. And I thought that it would have more positive influence on the buying procedure at other dealerships than it has, but it certainly has had a lot of effect, and especially now that Tesla's getting so big, I think, and with the regulations being enforced, the whole experience will be changing.
Yeah, I was just curious. And now Amazon's looking to be able to buy a car on Amazon too.
Wow.
The whole thing is so different.
It sure is. Leaves you just in awe.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for answering my question.
You're welcome, Denise.
Well, call again, Denise. We're so happy that Jonathan's got a big smile on his face over here because he is responsible for making the Zoom thing work.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect. Thank you so much for calling.
Yeah, Jonathan and Jenny really, they work together on this, and we really appreciate them. Denise, I have $100 for you for the first time Zoom caller. So
Thank you. That's very kind.
You're welcome. Provide us with your information, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job. Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much.
Thank you. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And one more new Zoom caller, give us a call at 926-589-0586 and win yourself $100 this morning. Back to the recovering car dealer.
When I came in the studio, I always give Rick and Nancy, I walk through the door. We come in later than Rick and Jonathan, and I give them a report about the autonomous Tesla that Nancy and I drive.
Oh, boy.
And it's always interesting. They're little. It was kind of we had a little bit of a tense experience coming in today, but it was good. It was different. Every time an autonomous vehicle does something a little different, you get nervous. And the reason I mention that is that I had kind of counted out. You folks have heard of Waymo. That's a division of Google, and you've heard of the Waymo robo-taxis. And there's a lot of negative publicity about them. They started in California, and there's always something going on the media about this one crashed, that one crashed. So I kind of thought of them as, I wanted to take a ride in a Waymo robo-taxi. I went online, signed up, and it was a waiting list. And Nancy and I, in the past, have traveled to San Francisco. I just thought it would be cool if we could have one, a ride in a robo-taxi. Anyway, long story short, guess what? You never count out Google. These Waymos are coming on strong. There are tens of thousands of rides being made without accidents. Now, there were 18 accidents, but out of tens of thousands of rides, they're expanding from San Francisco to Arizona, to Los Angeles, to Austin, Texas. Watch out, robotaxis, they're coming. And they've really harnessed this artificial intelligence thing. And in San Francisco now, for you folks that it's our favorite city, I think. If we go, when we travel outside of Florida, we love San Francisco better than about any place. They used to, you have to sign up and get on a waiting list, but now there's enough Waymo robo-taxis in San Francisco that all you do is take out your smartphone, you hit the app, and a robo-taxi pulls up, and you say, take me to the Fisherman's Wharf, take me to the Johns Hopkins, take me wherever you want to take me. And they do it. It's just incredible. You're in there all by yourself. There's no driver. You're sitting in the back seat, and boom, you're driving around.
Yeah,
well, the Traditions Village up in Fort Pierce, it's out west of the Turnpike. They have these transport buses that hold like 12 or 15 people, and there's no driver.
Yeah, but that's a fixed route around an enclosed community. I mean,
It's a similar thing.
Yeah, if you have ever driven in San Francisco, there's a big difference.
Yeah, I understand, but
as a human being,
it's baby steps is what I'm saying. But
until you've gone up and down Nob Hill and driving yourself, the thing I hate about driving myself in San Francisco is when you're going up a steep hill or go down a steep hill, you can't see anything, and other people can't see you. And then when you park, you park at a 45-degree angle. It's scary. So I would prefer a robotaxi that knew what it was doing, and apparently that time has arrived. So anyway,
that's become in San Francisco a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
People are just they're just as excited as we were, about the Waymo.
If there's been anybody who has taken a ride in a Waymo robotaxi, love to have a call from you. I'd love to have somebody that's had that experience. But Nancy and I are just we're everywhere we go now in the Tesla. We just say, take us there, take us home, take us to the radio show, take us here, take us there, and we call it Miss Nancy is the name of our Tesla. I say, Miss Nancy, take us to Walgreens.
Yeah, what I haven't fine-tuned is the fact that everybody around us, when we're driving the Tesla, they're not aware of what we are driving. So when the Tesla is on autonomous, for me, I really have to be focused and be aware of my surroundings, not just the car that, is taking me someplace autonomously. 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Give us a call.
And also anonymous feedback. Rick's got a couple of anonymous feedbacks that he can address for us. I got a anonymous feedback that said, I'm sending in anonymous feedbacks. Why don't you ever answer them on the air? So I plead guilty. I mean, we have text, we have phone calls, we now have Zoom, and now we have anonymous feedback. I'm sorry that we haven't been more responsive, but we're going to try to get to all the anonymous feedback. So you go to youranonymousfeedback.com, YOURANONYMOUS, feedback.com, and that's a web link. And you go to that link and you call us a name, ask a question, make a comment. Anything you say is totally anonymous. We can't find you. We don't know where you are. It is totally bulletproof in terms of privacy.
Yeah.
So we will get to those, and I apologize to the person that wrote the anonymous feedback saying, why don't you answer the anonymous feedbacks? But Rick's got a couple he'll address right now.
Rick, yesterday we saw another Cybertruck, but we were headed to Weston. It seems rather ironic that, when we head south, we see more of that vehicle than you would north up in Jupiter, Stewart. Have you seen any Cybertrucks lately?
I've actually seen, I think, 4 of them now. And as a matter of fact, the other day I saw 2 in the same day. It was surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Location?
they're getting there. They're getting around.
What location were you in?
Around North Lake, I think, for one, and the other was down in West Palm.
Ah, interesting.
So they're getting out there, folks. It's
And
they're getting there.
You recognize them when you see them on the road.
They're so distinctive.
They're out of this world.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have for us? Well, wait, hold on a minute. We're going to go to John first, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Just got back from Michigan. First, let's do the first one, the Cybertrucks. I'm here in West Palm Beach in our neighborhood and in my area. I'm there between Forest Hill and Okeechobee.
Uh-huh.
There's 5 or 6 of them that I can go see right now, whether it's in a business or someone's driveway.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And then driving up to Tampa over the weekend, did see auto carrier with 6 of them on there. I don't know how they got 6 on because they're so big.
Yeah.
Pulled in to charge the Tesla at Port St. Lucie, and 2 Cybertrucks were on the Chargers. They're out there,
Yeah.
and they were all stations.
They're popping up.
But the reason,
What we decided to do was to check out the garage because we're pretty close to delivery date, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. We are going to have to put it in the driveway, I
Yeah,
believe.
that's okay.
yeah, I got
Stainless
another
steel.
2 years. Yeah, I got another 2 years on the wait list. But I'm not going with the foundation. I'm just going with the single motor. But anyways, the autonomous driving thing, there is, you asked if anyone's done them. North of you, before Port St. Lucie, there's a development up there, and I think I heard it on this show, where they have these taxis within the community that take you around the community, and they're Autobots. They're, you just get in and pull to the stop.
Is that
You get in and
Traditions?
Yeah, that's traditions.
Tradition?
I've ridden in them.
Yeah. I thought I'd heard.
Yep.
Well, I did hear that.
I actually drove up there one day specifically just to ride in one of those vehicles.
A lot of fun.
Well, thank you very much for the call, John. I appreciate that. Let's hope one of those trucks will have my Cybertruck on
it. There you go.
Thank you.
Well, it was going from north to south, so.
I got you.
Okay, well, call again, and we'd like to hear from you.
All right, see you later.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Have a great weekend. 877-960-9960. we are going to go right to Rick because I know he has a lot to talk about.
Well, we're going to do Anne Marie's text.
Hi, Anne Marie.
She says, "Good morning. I've been watching the Olympics and noticed that Toyota is one of the worldwide sponsors of the Olympics. In 2015, I think she might mean 2020. Oh, no, I guess it was 15. Okay. Toyota reportedly entered into an $835 million contract with the International Olympic Committee to be a worldwide sponsor for 4 Olympic and Paralympic Games, ending with the Paris 2024 Games. It's not just money. Toyota is supplying around 3,000 hydrogen fuel cell cars and various mobility assist vehicles to the Paris Games. Toyota is a very profitable company, but that capital outlay boggles my mind and prompts an observation and the following questions. Obviously, Toyota expects to sell more vehicles due to the increased worldwide exposure. Number one, what does this cost to dealers? Do Toyotas tell all their dealers that Toyota is now a worldwide sponsor of the Olympics, so chip in extra? Number two, is the cost of the Olympic sponsorship just built into every vehicle that Toyota makes? Is it part of the MSRP? Number three, is Toyota so profitable that it can enter into this kind of sponsorship without asking the dealers to contribute extra? Number four, how does that work? And one final question, do you have at least one of the TVs in your waiting room tuned to the Olympics? Thanks.
Boy, that's a lot of questions.
That is.
Anne Marie, first of all, if anybody is going to be in the Olympic advertising, it should be Toyota. I asked myself the same question about some of the other sponsors. I think it's a prestige thing, like the Super Bowl. I mean, even if you don't sell any of their product when you advertise on the Super Bowl, then I guess the CEO says, hey, I got to have the Super Bowl. And it's kind of like a prestige thing. And the worldwide prestige, even more so with the Olympics. Toyota is a very different company. Not only are they the world's largest manufacturer of automobiles and, of course, the world's largest retailer of automobiles, and remember, Lexus is part of that package, but they've also, they're only family-owned business. It's like Earl Stewart Toyota, we're family-owned. Car dealerships, you see quite a few family-owned, less than you used to see, but you don't see any manufacturers that are family-owned. So Akio Toyoda is a grandson of the founder of Toyota. When Toyota makes a decision, when Toyota designs products and decides where they're going to advertise, they're not thinking about this year or next year. They're thinking about 20 years from now or 30 years from now, because they have their sights set on forever. And in Detroit, it's not Detroit anymore, but in the United States, the manufacturers here, they think of a 30-day cycle. If you're the CEO of GM, Ford, Chrysler, Honda, if you're the CEO, you're thinking how many cars I'm going to sell this month and how much money I'm going to make, because if you're the CEO, you can be gone tomorrow. And if you don't have the numbers, if you don't sell enough cars, you don't make enough money, then they start whispering. And so you can't afford to lose money in the short run. So let's say that the investment they're making in the Olympic advertising is in fact a negative cash draw. They're not thinking about next year or the year after. They're thinking about 10 years from now or 20 years from now. If there's anything that's going to be around forever, it's going to be the Olympics, I believe. And I think even the Super Bowl, that's going to be around forever. So it's a huge difference. The reason I say the success of Toyota today over all the other manufacturers is because they think in the future. And they make mistakes. And then they switch and change. They made a mistake on the hydrogen fuel cell, and they made a mistake on the electric vehicle, on the total EV, and they just all they do is switch gears, because when you're that big, you can afford to make a few mistakes, and they take advantage of that luxury of not having to be right all the time. So, Anne Marie, thanks. What a profound question. You asked excellent questions, and I don't know what the show wouldn't be what the show is without your text. Thank you very much.
And do we have one of our TVs tuned to the Olympics in the waiting room?
Oh, sure.
That's a great question.
It's impossible not to.
Yeah, really.
I don't want to sound un-American or unpatriotic, but I've got Olympic fatigue right now. I mean, every time I turn, I find myself watching shows I would never watch because everywhere else is the Olympics, and after a while, you can only watch these gals spinning around the air so many times, and then.
Myself, though,
I don't understand. Excuse me, Rick. There's a lot of guys that are spinning.
Yeah, but I like to watch the girls.
The guys are spinning.
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
It's driving me crazy. Sorry, Rick. Now you can talk.
I think my favorite one, though, the favorite story I had is I think it's an Armenian fellow that came out for the pistol shooting competition, and instead of having all the fancy, weird sci-fi glasses and all this, I don't think he even had earplugs in. He just walks out, picks up the pistol, shoots without any fancy sights or anything at all, and gets a silver medal. That dude was incredible.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
That's interesting.
No
Okay,
fancy
guys.
equipment, just did it.
Okay, moving along, we're going back to the phones, and then I'm going to ask Mark to hold on. He's our next Zoom caller, but we do have Mary, who's calling us from Davie, and she's a first-time caller. Good morning, Mary. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
You've won yourself $50 this morning, Mary. If you stay on the line when we're done talking, you can give Jeremy your information, and I'll get that check out to you.
Okay. So
Thank you.
my situation, am I ready?
Yes.
Okay. I have a Honda Accord, and I have an issue with the locking child brake, the lock. And I had an issue that happened about 2 years ago as I literally got locked in my car. I was driving home from work, and my car shut down. Had my windows up, air up, I could not get out. The locks are all automatic, the windows obviously electric. It was a crazy situation. Fortunately, I was a few blocks away from my house. So I called my husband. I said, please come meet me. Bring a set of car keys to get me out. So I'm sitting there, as hot as anything. And, I mean, there's nothing I could do. I mean, I just couldn't open it. I couldn't push the windows down. I couldn't do anything.
Goodness.
And I literally ended up calling the police, but fortunately my husband got there. As luck would have it, he came, got behind me, put on his flashers. All of a sudden, the car starts up. So, of course, first thing I did was I jumped out of the car. I mean, it was hot. It was miserable. And then we got the car running, went to my house, got a little freshened up. I drove directly to the dealership. I was like, what is this problem? What's going on? And they were like looking at the cables on the battery. They put those little pads underneath them. And that's kind of all that was done. And to this day, I mean, there's nothing else wrong with this car as far as at that time. And it was very frustrating. And I was wondering if there's any way that you could turn off these automatic child-proof blocks. They click on. Every time the car goes forward, they click. They make a noise. And again, I never really thought anything about it until I got locked in, and it was kind of a nutty situation. And people were like, how did that happen? I'm like, well, this is how it happened. The car shut down.
Wow.
Is there any way of fixing this? I contacted Honda. They kind of blew me off. They didn't really have any response to that. It's great for the kids, but I don't have young children, so it doesn't really pertain to me. But is there any fix for this? Could I have done anything differently, or?
I didn't know about this. Rick, what do you think?
I'm going to go on a limb and assume that it's the same setup as Toyota uses, and the door lock activation on the Toyota is it's what's known as a programmable feature. So if the owner's manual doesn't have a way for you to change it, you'd need to go to the Honda dealer, and they can hook up the computer to it and reprogram it to where it will not activate the door locks. Generally, there's several ways that they can be activated. One is that when you first turn the ignition on, If the doors are all closed, they will automatically lock. And then when you shut the car off, the doors, or you could program it to where only the driver's door will unlock, no doors will unlock, or all the doors will unlock. Now, for the other one is it's connected to the shifter to where when you take the car out of park, the doors will automatically lock. And then when you go back into park, you can either have no doors unlock, the driver's door unlock, or all doors unlock. And the reason for that is it's a safety feature to where while you're driving and going down the road, the doors are locked. So you're sitting at a traffic light, somebody just can't come up and yank open a door on you. And then when you park your car, you go back into park. If you're maybe not in a nice neighborhood, you may not want your doors to unlock at that moment again, so somebody doesn't just jump in the car with you. But yeah, that can be reprogrammed and turned off to where the doors you would manually lock and unlock the doors as you choose see fit. However, that needs to be addressed on a different level, because even with, say you're driving along and your battery completely failed, shut down, and you have no electricity in the car whatsoever, you should still be able to manually open the doors, and it should override that door lock and let you open the door from inside.
Nope, couldn't. That was my first. That was the first thing I did, of course. It was one open. No.
Yeah, that needs to be addressed by a technician to find out what's going on and why you couldn't unlock that door from inside, because that's an extremely dangerous safety hazard. We're in South Florida, the literal lightning capital of the world, and in my career, I have worked on at least 20 or 30 cars that have been struck by lightning, either a direct hit or a near miss with lightning, and that just obliterates a lot of the electronics. So you could be going down the road, lightning strikes right next to your car, suddenly you lose all your electricity, that the car just shuts down. You've got to be able to get out of that car. And that is a safety feature, that those doors must be able to be opened from the inside, even if the car has no power whatsoever. I would go back to Honda and say, hey, this is a safety issue, a safety concern. I need this addressed immediately. And what year is your Honda?
2012.
Yeah, I'd be saying this, even at 12 years old, I'd be looking at that and saying, this is a severe safety flaw, and you need to look at this under warranty even, because that's incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, it was scary too. It got very hot in that car, just in a matter of a few minutes.
What an experience.
Yes.
So sorry, Mary.
And I'll also go on record and go on writing. You put that email, text, or a letter. Anytime you describe a safety issue to an auto manufacturer and or dealer, be sure it's in writing. That gets everybody's attention. And Rick's absolutely right. That's a very, very unsafe condition, very scary unsafe condition. And I think once a Honda dealer and Honda manufacturer sees that in writing, you'll get a lot more respect and attention than you have so far.
It could have ended much worse. What a terrible story, Mary. I just couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. Sometimes now I kind of keep my window down a little bit, psychologically. I think about this, if it happened once, I mean, it's going to happen again. So,
sure.
Yeah, I will revisit Honda and,
And Mary, I hope you stay in touch with us and let us know how that was resolved.
Okay, will do.
Okay, and stay on the line for your contact information with Jeremy in the control room. Thanks so much, Mary.
Nice talking to you. Thank you.
You too. Have a great weekend. I think that according to Jonathan, we have Mark and we have Julie on Zoom, but our phone lines are shut down, correct?
We have one caller.
There is one more caller?
Let's take Mark on
Okay, let's take and go to our Zoom caller, Mark, and then we'll go to Julie, then we'll get our other call. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Welcome. You just won yourself $100 for being
Well,
a first
for
time
that,
Zoom caller.
I'd say,
Welcome.
could you donate that $100 to the big dogs? I don't need the $100.
Oh, thank you.
Are you wearing a Gator shirt, Mark?
No.
Oh, I saw the
SU,
orange letters on your blue shirt. I thought you were a Gator.
Yeah, no. My parents are both SU alumni, so.
What's up?
So, Earl, I heard you mention the Costco buying program, and
Yes.
I was recently in West Coast, Florida, and looking for a car, and I saw Costco has a certified used car buying program as well.
I knew they had a used car buying program, but doesn't it matter the dealer? If the dealer has a certified program, then Costco does have the program, but I wasn't aware either that they had a separate program on certified cars.
Yeah, and I was surprised, and I used it, and the internet price was the lowest price I could find, and then Costco's was $500 less than that. So it worked out great going through Costco.
Where did you take delivery of the car?
Courtesy Toyota, Tampa area.
Oh, okay. Well, so that's a certified program through Costco. I understand now. So, yeah, that's good. You can't go wrong with Costco. I know I sound like I'm, that I'm getting kickbacks from Costco, but Nancy and I shop there. We spend a lot of time at Costco. We order online there, and in my opinion, I know I sound like I'm exaggerating, but I don't think I am. They're the best retail store in the world, Costco.
I also have a comment for Rick on the speed rating of tires.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
like an H or a V rated tire is the speed the tire can go safely, but the other thing that it does connote is that it dissipates heat better at a V rating than an H, which can affect the longevity of the tire. And you might say, well, nobody's driving 150 miles an hour, but there's a lot of people on I-95 driving from Miami to Jacksonville driving 90 miles an hour for hours on end. So
they do 150 on the what's the Sawgrass? The Sawgrass Expressway.
If you head on the Sawgrass towards Weston, they're doing 155 miles an hour.
So, and the other thing people might consider downgrading from a V to an H-rated tire is some of these cars, not all cars, people bought them kind of like a fun per mile car. Okay, I turn my wheel and I get an immediate feedback, and it drives great. Sometimes if you downgrade, all of a sudden that snappiness, the sportiness of the car goes away because you got a less stiff sidewall, and that's something to consider if you're going down the speed grade.
That's interesting. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my 2 comments for today, and thanks a lot for having me on.
Well, thank you, Mark. Nice seeing you in person, and look forward to seeing you again next week.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go to Julie. Good morning, Julie. Julie's on Zoom.
Good morning. I have a question on window tinting.
Okay.
My driver's side window film is bubbling up in a line sort of way. Is it hard to remove that?
I did it on my pickup truck that I had years ago, my 97 Tacoma. The tint finally started bubbling on me, and it was a lot of elbow grease. You wind up basically using razor blades and Windex and rubbing alcohol, and you're scraping and scrubbing. The best way to do that is to go to a window tint place and ask them to do it for you if you want it removed or replaced.
Okay. I also have a comment. If you're interested in experiencing self-driving in a Tesla Model 3, there's a podcast called Granny Tesla. She's out of Tequesta, and it's Granny, Grannie,
Oh.
Tesla. And she and her friend Linda experimented for the first time with self-driving in Linda's new Model 3. Granny has done it in her car a lot, but that podcast is so entertaining.
Exciting.
But I can't wait to see it. I wrote that down. I'm definitely going to look at it because I feel like the world is missing out. And Nancy and I, we just look for it. We say, let's go someplace just because we can. I refer to who wants to be co-pilot. I'll be the passenger. You be the co-pilot. So if Nancy's behind the wheel, we named the car Miss Nancy. So, but it's true. It's truly a thrilling and interesting and fun experience on an autonomous car. So, Granny Tesla, I'll check that out.
Yeah, very interesting, and it's great to take the Tesla Plaid out at times on the road less traveled, because not everyone around you, is not. We can't share that experience with them.
Well, I can't agree with you on that. I enjoy the heavy traffic situations.
Okay. Hey, Julie, stay on the line and give Jonathan your contact information so I can get that check out to you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks for calling very much.
Give us a call again. It was great hearing from you. Looking forward to going to the website. Okay, folks. Rick?
By the way, Earl, on YouTube here, Rocket Scientist says, Earl, cancel your order. You cannot reach into the forward end of the bed without a stepladder because of how high the sides are angled up. The angles are so sharp that everyone's cutting themselves.
Well, it's amazing. There are certain things that the world has taken a position on. I won't get into politics, but about politics. And the Cybertruck is the same way. You either love the Cybertruck or you hate it. And the people that hate it are just vicious, and the people that love it are nutty like I am. So I just look at it this way. That's life. You're going to have, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or anything else that you're out there, you see the division in life. I like people who hate the Cybertruck, and I like people who love the Cybertruck. I understand how each side feels. So I know there's some bad things about the Cybertruck, but hey, there's some bad things about everything.
And Rocket Scientist, just to put your mind at ease, although you really can't tell it from the YouTube videos in this, Earl actually stands about 6 feet 8 inches tall, and he has a 48-inch reach. So he'll be able to stand flat-footed next to it and reach in through the sunroof. So he's all set on that part.
Oh man, I'll tell you, it's I just love this show. I love the callers. I love the Zoom people. I love the anonymous feedback people. We really got some smart people out there. I mean, I walk out of the show largely, thanks to you, Rick. I learned. I wish we'd been doing this show a long time before we did, because I learned more about the mechanics and the robotics and the electronics of cars just in the 2 hours you and I sit together. And then I learned all this stuff from people that call it Granny Tesla. I'd have never known about that. And these people that are calling in the experience with robo-taxis. But I just love this 2 hours of our life every week.
What a variety of topics that we cover. And you're right about Rick. Boy, I'll tell you what an experience it's been for me learning, from him. So I'm going to switch gears right now and talk just for a second, and then I'm going to get back to Rick quickly. But, Big Dog Ranch is in dire straits. They really need anyone to foster a dog. They are just overloaded at Big Dog Ranch to over capacity, And you can not only adopt a dog, but you too can foster a dog. And you can go to Big Dog Ranch and find out all about that program. We're going to get to our dog of the week, which is Lapson, and he's a mixed breed, and he's 2 years old, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But right now, Rick, do you have any YouTube or FaceTime? Or?
I've actually got a couple incognitos that we wanted to get to.
Please.
These were from
Your anonymous feedback?
yes.
Okay.
Sorry, just had my brain shut down for a moment there.
That's all.
The first one we wanted to address real quick is the person was asking about when should shock absorbers and struts be replaced. Now, basically, although you got two different names there, they both do the same thing. It's simply a shock absorber, and a strut simply has the spring for the car mounted on it, whereas the shock absorber is usually on one that has like leaf springs or springs mounted somewhere else to support the suspension of the car. These have, in the past, they would wear out every 15, 20, 30,000 miles, and they'd have to be replaced. They're moving parts. They were lower quality back then. Nowadays, they may outlast the car. There's two ways that you'll find that a shock absorber actually is starting to go bad. One is if it leaks, and you can actually see the moisture of the oil going past the seals. You'll see a big wet stain on that shock absorber. That means it's time to have it evaluated for just how bad that leak is and get prepared to replace it soon. The other one is you do what's called a bounce test or a jounce test on the car. And it's very simple. You walk up to the bumper, put your knee on the bumper, and get the car bouncing up and down. And when you step back from it, it should go maybe one or two more bounces and then settle and stop. If it does that, you're fine. If it keeps on bouncing up and down, that means your shock absorbers are no longer doing their job and it's time to replace them. Bad shocks, as you're going down the road, your tires are going to be bouncing and your shock absorber isn't doing the job of keeping them securely on the road, so you're going to wind up damaging the tires by causing odd tread wear, and it gets you car sick, of course, because your car is constantly bouncing up and down. So if you have either of those two issues, get them replaced. Otherwise, they're fine. And shocks may outlast the car nowadays. Now, the other one we have here, I'm going to actually try to read most of this off real quick. Customer says, I have a 9-year-old Camry, low miles, 28,000. Okay. I've replaced my tires twice already because Goodyear said their tires were expired. So they've already had the original set of tires and 2 full new sets of tires. That's 12 tires on this car in 28,000 miles. I went for an oil change, and Mavis Tire in Plantation said I had old rubber and tire rot. I looked extensively on the outside of the tires, and I see no rot. And I know what rot looks like because I had it on my truck. Have you heard of non-visible sun rot? And how common is a fraudulent upsell on tires? And by the way, is a tire's expiration date a real thing? These tires probably have 5,000 miles on them and are rated at 75,000. They are American-made Goodyear tires. Well, there's a lot of different opinions on that. Tires do have a date code on it, and it's recommended that you should not buy old tires because once they hit about 10 years old, the tires can start to degrade.
Well, 6 years is the...
6 years? Yeah. Okay. But even at 6 years, I would still not be too concerned if my tires were just 6 years old. If they really hadn't been driven much, I would inspect them for any signs of dry rot cracking, which are those little surface cracks you'll see. If they start getting really large, I'd be concerned. But if it's just tiny, tiny little cracks, I'm not going to be too worried about them. And I'd be considering replacing when it gets worse.
Well, you don't want to buy a set that are 6 years old, but
Right.
Your own tires, you can keep them as long as you don't notice the cracks that Rick is describing.
Yeah, and now here's the tricky one. This one just bugs Earl, but the DOT number. You're going to find a number on there, and the last 4 digits is going to be in a little bubble, and they'll be impressed. And this number is actually going to be only on one side of the tire, so it may be on the inside. You may have to get underneath the car to find it. And that 4-digit number, the last 2 digits are the only ones you want to worry about, because that's the year that tire was made. So if it says 19, that tire was made in 2019. If it says 22, it was made in 2022. If you see anything older than, say, 1 or 2 years when you're buying the tires, don't take them.
Well, I'm not going to get under the car to see the number on my tire. I'm going to ask my grandson to get under the car and tell Grandpa what his tire number is.
Okay.
Or the other trick is when you take it in for an oil change, ask the technician to take you out and show you your car and spot that tire on there.
There you go.
A lot of options. Okay, does that wrap it up, Rick?
We're caught up for me.
Okay, we're going to roll the video for our Dog of the Week, Lapson. And as I stated earlier, it is a male, 2 years old, and he is ready to be adopted. So roll it, Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Jennifer from Big Dog Ranch Rescue out in Loxahatchee Groves. We have about 700 friends right now on property that need some new homes, and I wanted to introduce you to my friend Lapsa. This guy's 2 years old. He's super friendly and cuddly. He loves to hang out. He loves to be in the grass. He loves to sniff all the sniffs. He'd be a great family dog. He's kind of a big guy. He likes to run around. He's pretty good on the leash, pretty calm, got some low energy. We'll walk around a little bit so you can see him move, but he's a great guy and he is ready for a home. So come and visit Lapsum today. Come on.
Great looking dog.
He's smart looking. He looks like a real smart dog. You can tell by their eyes.
Yeah. And ladies and
He's
gentlemen,
looking forward to meeting you.
we pay the adoption fee for Lapson. So take advantage of that. It can be expensive to adopt a dog. Isn't he cute? Love him. Okay.
You know how-
$200
Do you know how big that
saves you a lot of money.
Do you know how big that ranch is out there? I just looked it up on their website. I should know, but 33 acres in Loxahatchee Groves. That's just west of western Palm Beach County, not that far west. It's out of Okeechobee Boulevard quite a way. And it's a paradise for dogs. 33 acres, grass, trees, Puppyville. It's an incredible place. So just go to bddr.org, www.bd, bigdogranchrescue.org, and check out their website and see what they have out there. And they're also in Texas, and they're also in Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, they're huge, and they just save thousands of dogs' lives every month.
And what we don't talk about much is the kittens that they have out there. So there's a whole lot to take a look at. Just go out there and take a walk around, or like Earl said, go to their website. And again, we do pay the $200 for the adoption fee, and that can save you a great deal of money. And we also have Earl's book that you can purchase. That's
Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer.
Forgot the name of the name of the book. Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. I guess we all got it, Rick.
I'm contagious.
Really. So at any rate, it's Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and you can go to Amazon and purchase that. And the purchase of that book, $19.99. Proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. Proceeds, 100% goes to Big Dog Ranch. So take advantage of all of that. We are going to get to, I think we're right on time, Jonathan. Jonathan's over there cracking the whip. So we have to get to our mystery shopping report. It's another doozy, and it's Ancient Lightning shopped in Adventura Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
If you're not familiar with,
Excuse me for just a second. If you want to vote on that mystery shop, you can do so. You can text us at 772-497-6530.
Aventura is in South Florida, right in the heart of the Dodge City. It's the Sodom and Gomorrah of car dealers down there. So hang on to your hats. This is going to be exciting. It's just Aventura. I just don't know why car dealers don't name their dealerships. If you want to name an era, nobody knows where Aventura is. So it's what is it near? Do you know? Is it near Pompano or Fort Lauderdale or
Aventura? Isn't that by Fort Lauderdale?
It's near Miami. That's all I know. Yeah.
Isn't it in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale?
Anyway, that's Aventura Chrysler Jeep Dodge. I arrived. I'll be speaking the first person as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived mid-afternoon on the 31st, and that was July 31st, and began wandering the sales floor. I was approached by a salesman named Michael, who asked if I was looking for anyone in particular. I said, no, I'm just looking to get a price on a new car if possible. He smiled broadly and said he'd be happy to help me out today. I explained I'm looking for a car to keep at my second home in Aventura, near Miami in South Florida. Michael congratulated me on having a home here in Aventura, asked if I was looking for a specific model. I said that since it's going to be a second car, I was wondering if they had any good deals going on. Just, don't want to spend a lot of money. I just want to give me a really good price on a new vehicle. He replied that he had a few 2023 Challengers and Chargers that were new, and Challengers and Chargers that were new. Now, why would a Chrysler Jeep Dodge dealer have Challengers and Chargers? Oh, Challenger.
Yeah.
Which way?
Dodge.
Are Challengers and Chargers both? No.
Both are Dodge.
Okay, yeah. Chrysler Jeep Dodge. They got so many models and cars. I get confused. That were new and could really hook me up with a great deal. He gathered my contact information, said he'd be back with a new car. I asked if their Wranglers are ever discounted. He said, unfortunately not, as they are the ones that hold their value the most. Now, right away, when I was first looking at this mystery shopping report, I could tell you that Michael had not been around for a long, long time at the car dealership. I'm guessing this might be his first week on the job, but he just doesn't seem to. It's a shame that happens a lot. The car dealers will hire somebody and not give them the proper training, indoctrination, and this is what happens. So I sat and waited, and Michael finally returned after nearly 20 minutes of me pacing, telling me he had some bad news and some good news. The bad news was they don't have any more 2023 models in stock, although he had just said they had a few 2023 Challengers and Chargers, but they don't have any. They've been relocated, and I'm not sure what he meant by that, the previous day, because I don't think that Aventura has more than one dealership.
I wonder if maybe they sent them to the auction, being their 2023s, and the 25s are just about to come out.
It's unlikely. It's unlikely, yeah, but it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But he believed he could get a good deal on a Jeep Wrangler for me, and if you're listening to the show, you know you can get a good deal on Jeeps because the Jeeps are backing up, and Jeeps were the lifeline for the whole Stellantis auto group, and now the Jeeps are not selling. So if you're in the market for a Jeep, I don't know why you would be, because they have the worst quality and reliability of about any vehicle on the road, but they're sexy, and people buy cars on emotion, and why not? If you enjoy driving a Jeep Wrangler, you could get a hell of a deal on one. They're just backing up on the Chrysler Jeep Dodge dealership slots all over the country. About 10 minutes later, Michael returned and still hadn't returned. So I started walking around, getting antsy. A lady in business attire came out of an office and asked if I was being helped. I said yes. But the salesman had been gone for quite some time, and finally Michael came back and said he had the Wrangler for me to see. All indications that he's a rookie, as I said, probably his first week on the job. It was a brand new Wrangler with only 33 miles on it. I noticed there wasn't a window sticker, and of course that's no surprise in South Florida. Monroney label, not on the car. So I asked him about the price. Michael said he could pull it up online for me and help me on my phone to do it. It was a 2023 Jeep Wrangler Sport with an MSRP of $45,930. Manager then came out to insist, since I had mentioned being in a hurry. I clarified that I wasn't initially in a hurry, but after being there for an hour with Michael and without seeing a car, I'm now in a hurry. I was getting annoyed. He apologized for the delay, and I asked if I was able to possibly make a deal today. I nodded, and he asked if I was trading in anything, if I was planning on putting money down, and what my credit looked like. I answered his questions, and he walked back to his manager's office. The manager's office. I sat at a table waiting again. Michael returned saying it shouldn't be much longer, as it was the last day of the month and they wanted to get this done today. After waiting 5 more minutes, he returned with a sheet, and I hold that sheet in my hand here. It's a worksheet, and we regulars know what a worksheet is. It's something that you can show a potential customer that has no legal binding. It kind of gets the dealer off the hook because they disclose the BS, or some of it anyway, on the worksheet. But if you're trying to obligate a dealer to a price, the worksheet won't do it. It is not a legal document. Going over the worksheet, they sneak in their dealer installed accessories, their junk fees, mixing them up amongst real legitimate fees. And by a legitimate fee, I mean a government fee. So that's exactly what we had here. The top line on the worksheet was the MSRP of $45,390. They showed a $7,000 discount. Things are looking good, right? Hey, $45,390 sticker, Monroney label, and I got that $7,000 discount. Before, and you know what was coming next, their packages and fees. There was $1,482 added for installed packages. These are dealer installed accessories. And these, if you listened to the show earlier or other shows, period, you know about the legislation coming up in Florida now. And on September the 1st, this is illegal. And it will be, well, it's illegal now. But, on September 1st, Ashley Moody, the Attorney General, has sworn to enforce it. And this dealership will be, on September 1st, if it happens, fined excessively for hiding a price that wasn't advertised. The footnote on the proposal sheet explained this included the install package, $85 for 1 year of lube, oil, and filter changes, $399 for NSD appearance package, whatever that is, and $299 for NSD etch, and $699 for LoJack, the famous LoJack. Next came their fees, totaling $3,073. The second footnote explained the charge included, this is a bad one, and this is something you only see in South Florida, $995 for port destination. Now that's a freight charge. Freight charge is already built into the invoice and the MSRP. So by definition, you are already paying the freight charge, and they're adding it back in again. So they're charging you the freight charge twice.
Yeah, because on the actual Monroney,
yeah,
it shows $1,795 for a destination charge,
yeah,
directly above the total price.
So the real destination charge is even higher. So they're adding a mini destination charge on top of the maxi destination charge that you already paid. $23 for e-filing, that's a junk fee. No, and they mix it in because the battery fee, $1.50, who cares, right? But the $1.50 is really a government fee, so that's a legitimate fee.
Yep.
And then they hit you for $143.85 for dock stamps. Now, dock fees is a more common name, but Aventura is so egregious that they had the courage to call them dock stamps. Now, dock stamps have a legal definition, and they are a legal tax on financing. Well, the car's not even going to be financed. So the 143.85 is not only not a legitimate fee at all, there is no financing. So it doesn't have a legitimate basis in name, but they are so flagrant, they don't care. Now they mix it here. Here comes another teeny weeny real fee, a lemon law fee, $2. That is really a government fee. So you've got a $1.50 battery fee and a $2 lemon law fee mixed in with junk fees, which are added hidden profit. $500 for a license. You could take that with a grain of salt. It's probably inflated. And here's one that's not even, they don't even try to hide, $999 for a pre-delivery service fee. And $399, this is another electronic registration filing fee. So they give you 2 electronic registration filing fees, and here's another mixture now for the tire fee. So I'm out of breath. After sales tax, the bottom line was $46,016.44. He went over all the numbers, including the packages and fees, asking what I thought. I said I had no interest in those items. He said they might be able to adjust the price, but those fee lines would stay, and the adjusted price would reflect the discounts, if in fact his manager could do anything for me. I asked if there was room for movement in the price. He said he believed if I was ready to fill out a credit application, they could take a little more off. Say, if they fill out a credit application, there's an implication that you might want to be financing, and your regular listeners to this show know car dealers make more money on the financing in the box in the finance department than they do selling the cars. So if you're going to fill out a credit application and you're going to finance, I might be able to take some more of the price of the car because I'm going to add that back and then some in the finance office, is what he's saying. Then he asked what price out the door I would need to buy right now. This is the desperation plea when they realize you're just about ready to head for the door. What can I do? I'm begging you, give me let me take something to my manager. I said that regardless, I need to talk it over with my spouse. So boop, that burst his pretty balloon there because she's going to go home and talk it over with her husband. He asked me to give him a minute, so just give me a minute. So I get my manager know. I paced for about 5 minutes and then fed up, walked out the door. So there you have it. I hate to say it, but a typical South Florida mystery shopping report. I don't want to prejudice the votes, but I got to call a spade a spade. I mean, this is just typical. And the only good news about this report is September 1, if it happens, finito for that dealership.
Yeah, exactly. And the CARS rule is meant to crack down on bad dealerships' behavior, including bait and switch and advertising and sneaking in this finance and insurance and everything in between. But it's really going to be interesting to see how it's all sorted out. Very much so.
Yeah.
Until then, you can go to gooddealer.baddealerlist.com and you can see how all of you and us have rated every mystery shopping report. And you can also grade this mystery shopping report at 772-497-6530. That's Aventura Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge. Okay, what are our scores this morning?
All righty. We've got Bob in Maryland says, Agent Lightning had a long adventure at Aventura.
Yeah.
It's an F for the double freight charge and a lot of other reasons like no Monroney label. And we're waiting to see. No more coming so far on the text. We will run to our YouTube channels here and see what we get. Joseph Kelleher says, with all the junk fees, I give an F. Tom Steckel, F. Illegal practices, no Monroney, double dip on delivery, fraudulent dock stamps, still beats Central Florida's CDJR that charges $4,328 in junk fees. Johnny Z. Fradley says F, plain and simple. Brian Sidlatko, Jeeps are junk. F. Mark Smith, F, definitely. Holden 53 says low grade. Let's see. Okay, we're still looking good here. Although Holden says Tom has it right. And that looks like all we've got so far. So for me, I'm not going to go with the F because, like we say, F is for the ones that just really earn that grade.
If they're armed.
Yeah, I'm going to say D minus. But there's stores down there that have earned the F. You got to work hard to get an F out of me anymore. So.
Well, all you got to do is slap me with a bunch of fees, and I can easily give up a F. And this is embarrassing, humiliating. What are we going to do with the extra time that we have where we don't have to figure out all of these fees and all this, misconception of selling a vehicle?
Well, when the rule goes in, it's and I said this a couple of weeks ago. When the rule goes in, you're going to find out that there's a little flex they're going to have there. They're going to go after the real nasty dealers first, and Aventura, Chrysler Jeep Dodge could be one of them. But they don't only have so many people to investigate. So the really egregious violators, but there's always going to be. There's always going to be a dealer that's going to try to get away with a little bit, and I hope that's what happens. That the tide doesn't go all the way back out, but it's going to be like on I-95. Speed limit is 65. If you go 75, they're going to, or 9 miles over that speed limit. 74, they'll let you go. But if you go 85, 90, or 100, they're going to get you. So the 100-mile-an-hours in South Florida are going to be out of business.
Yep. In your grade?
I'm going to give them. I can't give them an F. I mean, because we're talking South Florida. I'll give them a D. A D. I mean, that tells you how bad South Florida is. Because this was a terrible report. If this report were in northern Florida or in Pennsylvania, it would definitely be an F. But in South Florida, we got to give somebody a place to buy a car.
We're just complacent, right?
Yeah.
They do it, so we'll do it, and they'll do it, and they'll do it. It's a rather unfortunate situation. Okay.
Just one brief bullet, if we have time. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but any of you folks that watch the stock market realize that it went down dramatically over the past couple of days. And one of the biggest hits was by a company called Intel. Unfortunately, Intel, they're laying off 15,000 employees. Their stock was the lowest it's been in 40 years or some crazy thing. It just dropped like a rock. And they're the major microchip supplier to automotive. So I hate to say here we go around again, but Intel is, if Intel stops building microchips to the extent that they need to be, it's going to affect every manufacturer in the world. So I hate to go back to the days of cars coming in without accessories because they don't have the microchips, or cars not coming in at all because they can't build the car. But hold your breath and keep your fingers crossed that Intel is not going to have the effect that automotive news predicts they will have on auto manufacturing.
Yeah, speaking of stock market, it was this week, wasn't it? Stellantis. It's no wonder they can't sell these Jeeps.
Yeah.
I mean, the stock dropped 48%.
Yeah.
And these vehicles are unsafe, and we could stay on the air for another 2 hours. I think according to Jonathan, I have 2 minutes.
Well, I got one.
You got one more thing to...
Yeah, one more quick thing. Here's some good news: is California is adopting a digital registration and titling for cars, and they're using blockchain. You know, blockchain is a indecipherable coded way that the hackers can't get through to. So instead of having handwritten titles, which is archaic, which is what most states have now, California is going to a strictly blockchain digitalized title. And it will be impossible to wash a title. That means that flood cars, damaged cars cannot be reinvented as a car with no problems. If you don't have the digital title, then you can't sell the car. So congratulations. I know a lot of people hate Californians in California, but I got to salute them. Great idea. All 50 states should have digitalized blockchain registration.
I second the motion.
titles.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. We had a wonderful time out, and we definitely enjoy your company. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you right back here next week.